Hello everybody, I hope you're doing okay today. We are going to talk about commercial sewing patterns and how you select a particular commercial sewing pattern. So, a commercial sewing pattern is a pattern that the big companies are producing. It's been around for, I think, 70, 80 years. And the older ones, 80-year ones, they call vintage sewing patterns. You get original ones that's quite expensive, and you can sometimes find cheaper ones as well. Now, what are the most important, the biggest, I wouldn't say important, the most biggest brands that have been around for years? They are like McCall's, New Look, Simplicity, Butterick, Vogue, and lately there are one or two newer ones. Now, some of these patterns have changed. The details of who are producing them and all of that you can find on the internet yourself. Now, where do we find these commercial sewing patterns? They were not available online 70, 80 years ago, but now you can find them online as well. First of all, I would say if you prefer looking at things, feeling things and things like that, you go to the fabric shop. And for a new beginner, I would suggest, if there's a fabric shop close by who sells commercial sewing patterns, you go to a fabric shop. It's a very great experience. You will find a very, very big, thick catalog. And in the catalog, you will find the different styles. And the different styles all will have a number. And for a beginner, I would suggest you go to the sewing patterns that will say beginners, or simple, or easy. And some sewing patterns will say advanced. So the catalog will have at the side basically what is the beginner ones, what are the advanced ones, or it will say skirts, pants, men's, children, all of that. So that big catalog is where you're going to go to. Some fabric shops will not have a catalog. They will have a lot of brand new sewing patterns that will be either in the boxes or drawers and things like that. But most important is going to be a number. Or you can go online and search sewing patterns, and then you will see a number, and you go to the shop and ask them for a particular number. Butterick 3756. It's just an example. Where can you also find sewing patterns? So you will go online. You type in commercial sewing patterns, and then you will see a lot of brands coming up. Or let's say you are going to type in a skirt or a pants or anything else, a shirt for a man. You will search it and you will come to a lot of the main ones will basically pop up. Then you select the same procedure. I'm looking for a skirt. Now, what will you find online? You will find the same pattern. The envelope will not be there, but they will tell you what is in front, what is at the back. I will talk to you about later about selecting the size. Where can you also go to is a thrift shop. A thrift shop. There you can find big bargains. You can even sometimes find something that is supposed to be $30 for $1, depending on the unit currency that you have in your country. Where can you also find? You can find commercial sewing patterns on the very big auction sites, handmade sites, like eBay, Amazon, Etsy. Here you can also find vintage sewing, commercial sewing patterns that have perhaps been reproduced, and you can find original ones as well. So these are basically the places where you can find the commercial sewing patterns. Now you're inside the shop, you are looking for let's say a skirt. Because I'm a skirt person, a dress person, I will be looking for a skirt. Let's say you want to buy a pants, so you're gonna look for, you search the catalog for a pants. Now let's say you normally were wearing a certain size. That does not mean it's going to be exactly the same as the pattern. This particular pattern has a number 2255, and this envelope will have 3 sizes: a size 10, a size 12, and a size 14. This butterick says it also has a size 12, a 14, and a 16, but it does not mean that their size 12 body measurement is going to be the same as the McCall's size 12 body measurement. So you will need, before you get into the shop, you make sure you took your 3 basic measurements. Let's say you are sure you're just going to do a skirt, you make sure that you take the waist measurement and to take the hip measurement, because this is what the pattern is going to indicate as well, the waist and the hip. So before you get into the shop, make sure that you have the measurement. You take your trusty tape measure. If you're going to do it in centimeter, you do centimeter. If you work in inches, you do it inches. Okay, now you take your waist measurement right around the narrowest, you can see it nicely here, the narrowest part of your waist. To get this part, for some of us, you bend, and then as you bend your waist part, you will get the narrowest part. If you do it in centimeter, you take your centimeter measurement and to write it down. If you do it in inches, you write down your inches measurement. Okay, that is now for your waist measurement. And then the other important measurement that you will need is your hip. Now remember to, when you take the measurement, go stand in front of the mirror, because you need to make sure everything is level with the floor. Level. It must be level, perpendicular to the floor, right? So you do the widest part of your hip. What is the widest part? It's going to be the widest part around your bum area and the hip area. Now if you have a protruding front part, you put it over that part. You put it over, because you need to find the widest part, right? And everything is level to the floor. Those 2 measurements are important. Now let's say you will buy this pattern, for instance. I would suggest you just take another hip measurement a little bit higher. And I think this pattern says they have a measurement for 9 inches below the waist. 9 inches below the waist. That one you'll take, and another one, the widest part of your hip. To do this, also remember to wear a fitted top. Your singlet or t-shirt, you take the measurement, fit it, but make sure it's level, and you spread your legs a little bit when you do the hip measurement. So those 2 measurements you take to the shop to determine your pattern size. Now let's say the one side, as you can see, is in centimeter and the other side is in inches. It does not mean all the patterns are the same, right? It's going to be exactly like this. So I will go to the centimeter side and you will go to the inches side, and you just concentrate for now on the size you need to take. Let's say my bust is 102 centimeter, and you can see it's a different language. There's no English. Sometimes there's English in as well, but you can read the English over there. So it's across 102 centimeter. Let's say my bust is 102 centimeter and my waist is 84. I will select size, the size. But this pattern comes basically in a lot of sizes, from size 26 to 34, or 52 inches to 60 inches. So you've got already got an idea what the sizes are of this pattern. Just look again. And the US uses 26, European is 52, 60. So you will need to study which one exactly you are going to be using. So if you are between sizes, let's say between 102 and 107 bust, because this is such a fitted item and this is going to be a stretchy item, you can still use 102, right? These are the things that you need to consider. If you're between sizes, sometimes take the bigger one, and sometimes you go for the lower number. Now, for the hip area, this pattern don't have anything about hip, and you see how you have to look at the hip size. So let's say the hip is 107. The body measurement say here 107. Oh, let me see if you guys can see. 107 centimeter, and let's say I am 109 centimeter, and this is a loose fitting. I will move to the bigger size, 112. So I will select then size 20, and I will make sure that the pattern has size 20. But as you can see, this is not size 20, which will mean I will have to go and find the size 20. So I tell them I want 2255 and size 20. Sometimes you can look at for yourself in the drawers, and then you'll select your pattern. The same you do online. You select everything online as well. When you do a pattern for a child, baby, it's the same. It's the same. You have to take the child's, let's say the baby's weight, and the baby's height, and sometimes the chest. You take those measurements, and you go to the shop to select the pattern. This pattern is like they work in weight and height, but some patterns they do it in age and chest. And for a bigger child, basically the same, the waist and the hip and the chest measurement. And for a man as well, for a man you will use let's say you're going to make a pants, you take his hip measurement and his waist. And remember, the waist is the person needs to bend, and there where the bend is, there is going to be the waist measurement as well. So it's basically the same. If you're going to start cutting out, you're going to be needing full body measurements, and I will do that in the different video next time. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.